This is the third episode of Friend of the Gods, a Hand of the Gods podcast focusing on tournaments, community, and strategy. And to start the interview off, we're going to start with the first of our three pillars of what we focus on in tournaments. Are you going to be competing in the tournament on the 27th this month for PS4?
Yeah, if work works out, I'm definitely going to try to, yeah.
That's going to be really, really cool. I know a lot of the top PS4 streamers that I talk to are going to be in it. I'm also going to be joining myself, and I think we can give a good showing and show those PC guys that, you know, we got some good skilled people here on console as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I wanted to ask, how did you get your name DeathSaint? And, you know, like, what is its significance to you?
Oh, yeah. You know, we always get our gamer tags from all sorts of things. For me, it was World Warcraft days, actually. The very first vanilla version of it, I was an undead priest. So it kind of went with it and kind of stuck with it. You make a lot of friends online doing that. And, yeah, it just was one of those kinds of things. I was always kind of drawn to the healing aspect of it.
Oh, that's really cool, man. My first WoW creature was actually an undead priest as well. I thought fear was stupidly broken, and
that's great.
Yeah, it was really fun for a long time. I liked WoW as well. Did you end up making any alts? Find some low-level characters that you enjoyed playing?
Yeah, you know, I did do Moonkin later on when they finally got some love.
Oh, yeah.
I think his name was Moon Juice, and
that's really cool.
Yeah, and then I also had when they did the character changes, like switched to Blood Elf and was DeathSaint for a little bit.
Oh, that's really cool, man. So, what is your other experience online? Necessarily, we'll talk about card games first. Have you played any digital card games before Hands of the Gods?
So no, this is my first. I'll be honest. I mean, well, you know what? Actually, I did do a little bit of Magic the Gathering online, but I did a lot more Magic the Gathering offline, for sure.
Do you still play Magic offline?
I gave my whole collection to my cousin, so when he comes over, yeah, that's when we play.
No, that's really cool, man. Like, when I ended up moving up to go to school, I actually gave away my whole collection to a buddy as well, except for my like really, really expensive cards. And it's one of those liberating things of, I played that game for like 20 years, I got the best of it, and I just don't think I'll ever reclaim the glory days of like Urza's block and stuff like that.
Yeah. I hear you. No, I got a lot of love for the game. But no, I kind of feel the same way. It was kind of good to just kind of pass on the joy, and you know, the collection's gotten so big, and all those things happen. So yeah, it was nice to pass it along and let my cousin really enjoy it, because a lot of his coworkers are playing with him.
Did you play any other card games that were not digital, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, as a little one, definitely Pokemon. I remember when I had my Charizard and somebody offered me a good chunk of money for it, and I look back at it, I'm like, why did I not sell certain things? You know, you hang on to them like it's nothing. But yeah, no, I remember doing those Toys R Us Pokemon gym days and getting your little stamps on them.
Yeah, totally. Where there would have like a up to 13 and over 13 bracket and stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that brings back some memories. Do you still have those cards by chance?
Oh man, our basement flooded. That's actually where everything got ruined. And like I said, I look back and I'm like, why didn't I sell certain things?
Oh.
Oh yeah, they became muck. A lot of the decks actually got stuck together, and I actually did play them as a deck. So it was cool actually. I think that was the first card game I actually learned how to play.
Oh, that's really cool. I think that that's definitely a good introduction into Magic and some of the more complicated card games. Pokemon was like the first. I played Magic first, but I didn't play it competitively in any way when I was learning it. And then I was like, oh, I can understand Pokemon. And I just remember like Professor Oak gave you like draw a full hand and things like this, where I was like, in Magic, these were just really broken cards. So
yeah, this would be super broken.
So, on that note, do you think that there are any cards in general that feel that broken in Hand of the Gods?
Well, I've been messing around some ranked one Bellona already, and trolling some people really hard with Discordia for sure. I don't think. Let's see. I don't think there's too many like completely broken cards. Even Discordia, I mean, it is situational, but it really puts people on tilt immediately. It's kind of one of those things where you're not making the game fun for some people when you can kind of get the tempo that quickly, especially for its rarity and its cost. I think it's definitely way too low of a cost card right now.
I think it's a pretty big contended thing on Reddit right now. Do you think that there's a certain cost threshold that could justify the type of mechanic that it brings to the game as is?
As is, since it's already been put in as a rare, I think it's going to be a really hard, like, Godspeed to high res if they can fix it, because honestly it's going to be really hard. Honestly, if they kept it the way it was, I think that what they should have did was the rarity should have been up. But now if you change the rarity, everyone who kind of bought it for 50 or deuces of them 50 can kind of get it flipped around for them. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's the right answer, so I'm not going to hate on it. I hope they can do it. I hope they can pull something off where she's not useless too, because it is cool to have some new cards to mess around with and not nerfed to the ground like certain things happen, like certain pantheons, like Aqua. It's not as fun to even play as much anymore.
Yeah, I think that's completely true, unfortunately. And on to the note with the Mayan stuff, part of the big problem with Alpwatch's stuff is the fact that when you're trying to pull things out of your graveyard, it seems like they have this really cool tight-knit synergy, and then you realize some of the other core cards, like your zombies and like the hives and stuff like that, are clogging up your graveyard.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely Death Barter after getting some hives killed. It sucks when you're trying to fish out, the decay or something different.
Yep.
And you're like, well, I didn't really want that. Maybe if they change the aspect of it where it says, pulls out a card that costs 2 or more, that might sift out a lot of those silly cards you don't really want to rebounce back to your hand,
I like that. Oh, that's really good. So it sounds like from what you're saying, you've definitely been a long-time gamer then. So, like, where are you from, and what was your experience growing up as a gamer there?
I'm from Chicago, born and raised. Yeah, it's interesting being a city boy and gaming, especially in the area I grew up in as a kid. I was definitely the weird one compared to the rest of my friends in the block. But it's cool once you reach high school. We have a lot of diversity, so when we get to those areas, that's where you get to really meet a lot of other gamers and actually get to do the tournaments and stuff. And but as far as gaming goes, it was just, yeah, seed was planted with DDoS games with my uncle. He was is an IT worker, and he had a little, almost like a cyber cafe down in his basement.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I remember just playing Doom and StarCraft and all sorts of things down there on a team, and eventually he opened his own little internet cafe and doing just Call of Duty, the original one, and all sorts of stuff there. And yeah, just love for games have always been there. Just kind of stuck with it. I loved them my whole life.
Oh, that's really cool. So if you grew up around the LAN center days, then you've got to be like 25 plus then.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought my age was showing when I said Pokemon.
No, that's fair. It's always cool to hear. That's like one of my favorite questions from asking all the different people, because as united as we are as gamers now with the internet, it really was kind of a regional thing where you all had your own little scene, and it wasn't until you went to a big regional or state tournament where you really saw like the meshing of all the cliques, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, how did you get into Hand of the Gods itself again?
Oh, so yeah, this one was actually pretty goofy. My friends and I, we were playing Destiny, and I was just convinced to buy it by a buddy of mine, and I was playing it, but after we beat everything, there's kind of nothing really to do.
Yeah.
And so, I was waiting around, and we decided, hey, let's try to download some free-to-play games. And they all told me to download Smite, and I guess I downloaded the wrong file.
Yep.
And so next thing I know, I have Hand of the Gods. I open it up, and I'm playing it. And I'm like, wow, this is like a little bit like Magic. I never played Hearthstone, so I liked the tempo of one mana each turn. I didn't have to lay a land each turn or anything like that.
Yeah.
But also the tactics is what really got me. I loved playing games like Front Mission. Fire Emblem, like the whole tactics aspect with it, I mean, really got me going, and just got me right back into cards again,
No, totally. And I think that a lot of people who are fans of that genre of gaming are drawn to this game. Did you play a series called Shining Force by chance?
No, actually, I haven't gotten to play that one actually.
It is Sega Genesis and Game Gear, but it was like Fire Emblem. I would say it was like Sega's version of Fire Emblem, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember what the game was called, but there was a Sega's version of where you created these. I want to say. You had these forces. You can pull out a dragon. You can pull out they're mythological creatures mixed in with a lot of fantasy creatures. But that one was a tactic game. But you can play 4 players of just battling it out with a bunch of people. But I didn't know what it was called, so I'm not sure if that's the game.
Oh man, now I really want to figure what that is. That sounds like a great game.
That one was a great game. It was an awesome game. Even the drawn pictures of them and everything, it was amazing. I mean, we said this before, but I would love to see a game like this even go where we can do 2v2s and get the bigger maps to kind of duke it out and combo things even more.
Yeah, no, completely. I think that if we do get something like that, and even where we could have like a 4-man free-for-all over that would be amazing, right?
That'd get messy and fun.
It would be really weird because we'd have to somehow at high res would have to block communication in some way so people couldn't cheese each other, but that would get really crazy really fast. So you had mentioned that you believe Bellona is the most powerful. What's your favorite pantheon though, and why?
You know what? I've been really enjoying Ra unranked with this deck I made. It's like a caster Ra. I made it kind of in homage to my cousin who was like the king of Magic back then. Whenever we go to top 8s, he'd always either win it or get in it every time consistently. And one of his decks that he had was a black and white deck. And all it was focused on was spells to kill, and then big creatures. And Ra was the only one where I could mimic that, and it's been one of my favorite ones to play, mainly because it's just everything they play, you just kill and kill and kill, and then just pull out a big guy and see what they can do with it.
Is this like a sacrifice and circuit type stuff?
No, actually, it's just nuke them and poison them. It's honestly, it's a really quirky deck. I think that's what I like. And my favorite pantheons is where you can make something quirky. I love Hindu for that same reason. There's You know, nothing better than getting like a pillar of patience out and using. I had like an opponent one time. We had the satyr out where you can only play one spell.
Yeah.
You drop a poison hydra on them, and then you also get that pillar of patience and duplicate it with an illusion. And I mean, they waste 10 mana barely summoning something, and it's just you get them stuck. It's just cool when you get them in that situation that you were aiming to with the decks.
That's actually a really cool way of getting a win there. I didn't even think of using the Poisonous Hydra, his proc of anything other than a tempo play, to be honest.
Well, it works. It works really well. I mean, it even throws off people sometimes. If you, especially if you can get them stuck in with. I forgot what I did on that situation. I think it was. I actually have a video of it. I should just post it. Oh, I think it is posted.
Just post it in the chat. There's no restrictions or anything. Just post the link in chat.
I think I got it.
So, if Egyptian is your favorite, what's your favorite card?
My favorite card. I mean, let's see. That's a good question. Favorite card in Egyptian, or just overall out of all?
Just in general, like neutral and non-neutral.
So non-neutral. Been liking. Let's see. Non-neutral, you know, I do like being able to have that one big powerful one. As far as what I think is my favorite as far as powerful card goes would be Annihilation for Pantheon.
Oh yeah.
And then as far as neutral goes, it would be like a Fire Giant. As far as fun cards go, I do love Mercenary. And for Pantheons, let's see. I wouldn't have anything for Pantheons. I'm not sure what I'd go with on that one.
Mercenary was the whole reason I built that Hindu deck I played in 0.36 for the longest time.
You see the blast? Oh my goodness!
And you can copy them.
That's oh man, yeah, no, definitely the aspect of lives.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing with this one over here. On the video I'm about to post, it's a Zeus stole my aspect of life, and he ended up spending 10 mana to summon 1/1 Fury, and I was like, poor guy.
Oh, that's really funny. Okay, it looks like we're going to be getting to the end of the interview here. So after this game, we're going to be wrapping it up. And do you want to go on to the rank decks that we both built first, and then we'll go on to the card review?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So last couple questions we have here is, are you happy with the current patch? Obviously, we both don't really like Discordia very much, but there's a lot of positives as well, right?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's always I mean, the fact that you get new content in general, and they've actually been pretty good at keeping stuff consistent as far as working on new things. I am pretty happy with the patch. I've always enjoyed just the cards changing. I definitely love being able to have the end of turn cards finally. You know, a lot of stuff where I was excited to work with, like Osiris and things like that. Being stopped from it for so long. Definitely nice to have that open up, you know?
Yeah, Osiris and Arachne as well. The spy. Oh man, I was really pissed because for me, there's no reason you don't want to play Arachne in Greek. Like, there's almost no deck you would not play Arachne
definitely.
in.
No, I stayed completely away from Zeus and Arena, and honestly, I had a lot of easier time fighting them in ranked. Kind of climbing up, especially early game, it was hard for them to kind of catch up or get stuff with.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Oh wow. So in terms of Osiris, have you really found any use for him in a deck? I know you said you have a lot of big creatures and as well as the nuke. Are you using Osiris in that deck?
I haven't gotten to quite yet. I did do one where it's more focused on using the carrier behemoths to try to kill them. But even still, I liked having the little guys mass up more. I like pulling them out more with the Power Delve than a Sylvanas, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he's a good card. I just haven't really gotten to tinker around with him just quite yet.
I think that when I have Sylvanas out of Roman and I Power Delve, it is definitely what feels like the strongest application of Osiris right now.
Oh yeah.
And
it's interesting. He can die pretty quickly. I think it's kind of fun to mess with him. I think one deck I did try tinkering out was the 4-drop or the 5-drop, the 4/4 ranged. I forget her name. The Afterlife, Bring the God Back.
Yeah, the Deadeye.
She works pretty interesting sometimes with that, because Osiris is, for 7/5. Honestly, by the time you get him out on the 9-drop, I feel like he's very easy to deal with by that late. Or every time I've played him out, you barely get him to get going. So, or somebody has the right counter by then.
Yes, they will execute it, and you'll lose a ton of tempo from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like we just wrapped up the game here. Definitely crushing all opponents with this deck. So gave me some good luck in this draft here. I'm gonna pull up